Hey everyone, how are you guys doing today? I want to just welcome everyone to our webinar series today on Tuesday, April 16th. My name is Emma Claire Polich, and I am so excited to be hosting another webinar for our Jolt customers today. And especially this webinar about our updated scheduler in Jolt. Today, I am joined by our guest speaker, Michael Slater. Hey, Michael, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me all right?
Good, I can hear you all. Can you hear me okay?
Awesome. Sure can.
Awesome. Well, Michael is the VP of our product here at Jolt, and he has actually been spearheading this feature update for the past several months. And I am just really excited to dive into this discussion with him today. Michael, I'm really excited to have you here. You are a product expert, and just so our customers can get to know you a little better, how long have you been at Jolt, and what are you personally excited about with this product update?
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here. And to answer your question, I've been at Jolt for about 9 years now, coming up on 9 years. And I am very excited for this update. When I joined Jolt, we didn't have a scheduling product. We added it, I think a year or two after I joined. And I got to see how this product has grown and evolved. And I'm just really excited for where we were able to take the mobile app experience today and excited to share it with everyone.
Awesome. I am too. All right. So just a couple housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded and we will be able to send this out, and we are going to send this out afterwards to all of our registrants. Just in case someone from your team wasn't able to join today, or you want to just have a good place of reference to look back, we'll be sending this out. Also, we are going to be having a Q&A session, so please submit your questions in the chat. It's going to be monitored, and then any questions that are left open, we will be addressing at the end of our presentation today. All right. With that being said, let's get rolling on this really fun update. So Michael, a couple of things for you. What was the process that went through when approaching the redesign for the scheduling mobile app?
Yeah, so we went through a process of first analyzing customer feedback and interviewing customers and trying to identify the biggest pain points that we had an opportunity to solve. Um, the Those who are using Jolt should be familiar with our feedback portal. We have a forum where customers can leave feedback, they can request features, and there was a lot of activity and comments on scheduling. We poured through each one of those, and we interviewed lots of customers to really pinpoint the most important priorities for this redesign. And just to give some context, the first objective of the redesign was to put the app into new technology that would be more stable and to integrate it with our existing app so that we could have one app for everything instead of Jolt Lite and the regular Jolt app. We wanted to simplify the end experience for users. They can download a single app and have all their Jolt products in one place. So if I'm a new employee working for a Chick-fil-A, a McDonald's, a Jimmy John's, a car wash, whatever the brand is, whatever the industry is, we want that process to be extremely simple, where they don't have to download a dozen different apps to be able to do their job. They can just download the one Jolt app and they can get their scheduling, their tasks, their time clock, their food safety, sensors, labels, all the Jolt products, the communication, everything that Jolt has to offer in one app experience. So that was the main driver. But then we went ahead and took the customer feedback to figure out, okay, how can we redesign it in a way that's going to solve some of the biggest pain points and provide more value to our customers, as well as pave the road to a future roadmap of more enhancements and more innovation.
I love that. I love the fact that here at Jolt, we really are taking that customer feedback and using it to make our system better. I mean, with scheduling, we want to three major things, right? Save time, eliminate that hassle that people might be experiencing with those two apps or on paper, and then maximizing that profit. So I think the fact that you guys really took that feedback and then you're also now pushing it to just this all-inclusive app is 10 out of 10, 5 stars from me, especially from the CS side of things. Um, a follow-up question I had for you, Michael, on this is what is the functionality of this feature with all of the other features that are currently in the regular Jolt app that weren't originally in that Jolt Lite experience?
Yeah, so from the old Jolt Lite app, you were able to do some things outside of scheduling, like complete your checklists, but they were very limited checklists. They didn't get the updates with the new features because it was all old technology. And they didn't have the rest of the Jolt products. So now in the new experience for scheduling, it's all baked into the primary Jolt app. There's only one app to worry about, like we mentioned.
Mhm.
You have the option, depending on people's roles and permissions, to configure it so that they can have access to any and all of the Jolt products. So that includes, again, the lists, the time clock, the labels, the sensors, the communication, and any future products that we continue to develop as well. The logbook, the information library, it's all in that single app now, and it's all based off of roles and permissions to adapt the experience for what the user needs.
Perfect. That adoption and adapting to like going right back to that eliminating hassle of those two apps, that one experience, I think this will increase not only usage of other features, but definitely the scheduler, which I am so excited to dive into. Um, if you don't mind, I really want to kind of hop into a demo of what this new scheduler looks like and take a tour and show all of our customers watching what this looks like today. So with that being said, let me see if I can pull my simulator up. All right. Do you guys see this all right on your end? Awesome. Okay. So here we go. Right off the bat, we have our simulator app and it looks like we have a really awesome view here. I'm logged in as an employee, so just a regular employee, not a manager. Just looking at this new dashboard view, right off the bat, Michael, how did you decide what to put on the dashboard? Like, what were your major points?
Yeah, great question. So as we went through all of that feedback and interviewed users, we interviewed both managers and employees because scheduling is a balancing act of making sure the business needs are met and the employees' needs are met so that they can get their schedule and that schedule can work with everything they have to do. They know when they have to work and they can adjust for any conflicts in their life if necessary in a way that doesn't derail the business. So in interviewing, both of these user personas, we realized that the dashboard for employees really had three very important jobs. One, the most important obvious thing is it has to communicate the schedule. When am I working next? You have to answer that question and it has to be super easy. We can't have it users, fumbling around looking for their schedule buried somewhere. It has to be front and center. So we've got this next shift section. It's brain dead simple. When I open the app, there you go. That's when I work next. And we've simplified it to just the few shifts that you've got up and coming. But if you want to see more, you can dive in and get, your full schedule, however far out that's been published. And then what's
Awesome.
great, if an employee has any conflicts, like
Mhm.
let's say sick or an emergency comes up, they've got an issue, they've got to adjust their schedule. Instead of just texting their manager and putting that work on the manager, if you don't mind, Emma Claire, you can tap on any of those shifts.
Any of these? Perfect.
Yeah, and then on the top right, you've got your menu, and the employee can just, initiate that trade or drop that shift and make it available for others to pick up. And that puts it in the pool so that other employees can see, hey, there's a shift available here. You can request to pick up that shift and now a manager can approve it. So again, we're
That's
making
awesome.
the experience easier for employees to get their own shifts covered so that managers less of the burden is on the managers and they can focus their time on doing what they need to do to run the business.
I love that. I love that we're taking things off of a manager's plate and we're really giving the employees the full value of Jolt and giving them the responsibility to take ownership of their shifts. I think that's awesome. Just looking back at this dashboard view we have, is there like what is all the technology and design updates, or is it all just that, or is there any new features that are introduced on this dashboard view?
Yeah, great question. So there are some new features. Actually, if you open up one of those shifts again,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see one new feature is you're able to see your coworkers down there, so you can see who works with you at that time. And this enables better communication. So again, if I've got an issue, I already know Kenneth is already working that day. I'm probably not going to bother him to try to pick up my shift. He's already got a shift. I'm going to try to trade with somebody else. I can also make sure as a manager when I'm looking at shifts that people's coworkers make sense so that I'm pairing, people who might be weaker at certain skills with people who are stronger and make sure we've got the talent and skills coverage that we need. If you go back from the shift section,
Mm-hmm.
there's two other big jobs that we identified that the dashboard needed to do. And one was facilitate easier pickups of shifts. Again, the whole point is to make coverage management easier for the
Mm-hmm.
manager, put it more in the hands of the employees, but to give the managers the ability to have control to approve or deny those changes. And one thing we discovered through all of our interviews was that a lot of users, a lot of employees didn't really know where to go to find the shifts that were available to pick up. Even if they
Yeah.
did know where to go, it wasn't very easy to make sure that the shift didn't conflict with their schedule. So what we've done here is we've got a section on the dashboard and it's only going to show you shifts that work for your schedule. So you're not going to have to worry about conflicts. We've already filtered that down for you. And it makes it, again, brain dead simple. Simplicity is what we're going for, ease of use. If you want to make changes to your schedule that will enable you to pick up other shifts, you can use the arrow and see all the pickups available. But we're going to start you off with ones that are already filtered to, hey, these work with your schedule, so you don't even have to think about them. You can just request that pickup with no problems, and the manager can decide to approve or deny that. So that's a new
That
feature. And the third job that the dashboard really needed to do was make sure time off was easy, because this was a big pain point for managers. Constantly getting text messages or getting pulled aside, hey, can I have time off? When they're in the middle of a shift, and then they have to jot that down on a sticky note or
Yep.
ask time off when. And even though the old Jolt Light app, it had the ability to request time off, it wasn't in your face like this. It wasn't super easy and intuitive. And so again, designing it in a way so that it was just extremely easy to access, make sure there's a higher level of adoption, that users are going to request their time off. There's no question of where it's at. When an employee asks, well, I don't know where to do that, the manager says, hey, it's on the dashboard. It just scroll down, it's right there. They can submit that time off. They can see the status, like here one was denied. They don't have to constantly bug their manager for updates and, hey, is that pending? Is it approved? Is it denied? You're going to know right away. So that's kind of the goals and purposes of this dashboard, to make scheduling a lot easier for both managers and employees.
That's amazing. I mean, it's super simplified, it's user friendly, it is colorful, which I like. I mean, red usually means it's a no-go, green is available. So this is really wonderful. And I'm really liking how, like you said, it's just the ease of scheduling, and we're putting it back on the employees to take off that hassle of, oh, I spilled something on that piece of paper that I wrote something down on, or if that's like when I was in the restaurant, we always had like a paper schedule, and you don't know if that's like a 7. Am I available from 7, or is that a 1? So this is really awesome that it is digitalized and it communicates with the web portal from what has already been scheduled out. So cool. Michael, if you don't mind, can we actually try a couple of pickup shifts and time off requests?
Yeah, of course. Let's go
Cool.
through it.
So like you said, we could either go here to the arrow and it will show us all of those available shifts, or we could just come here and it'll show us like the next views. So what I'll do is let's do Thursday the 18th. Let's get a couple more hours for Ada here. Okay. So this looks fairly simple. We're just going to literally click request pickup and it tells us that shift time, it's not been assigned. And then the coworkers that Ada will be working with. So you can just click request pickup and then it's unable to pick up due to a conflict. Okay. So let's try another one. The 19th, if we request this
Yeah,
pickup.
I think
Oh,
we
yep,
do
I think,
have an issue with the latest of the app is not on the simulator. You're not going to get the full version of the app, which now does filter these. So right now it is showing
okay.
you ones with. So there's a little bit of a lag here. If you go to the App Store right now, you'll see version 4.30, and that is the latest version that I don't think we're on here on the simulator, and that's going to be
Okay.
the one that's going to limit this to ones that are available.
That are available, not just unassigned ones. Okay, gotcha. No problem there. Well, there we go. Let's talk about time off then. So time off, we already had one denied, but let's just click right into that and make a new time off request. So if we click here, we can make a new time off request, and then you can also see, is this just denied or is this also going to show us approved upcoming requests as well?
Yeah, it'll show you whatever time off history you have, and it looks like Ada's only submitted one request that's been denied, but if you submit more, they'll all be here and you can see where are they pending, are they approved, what happened with those.
Okay, great. So it looks like we have this view of a calendar. So it'll take us to an available day that we can request time off for. But if she wanted to do something, let's say the first week of May, just for a couple days, and then click continue, we have this new view. This is great. So looking at this time off view, what do we have going on here? We have all day. This looks new to me. And then, or is it just based on time?
Yeah, so they have the option to, it'll default to all day or they can select a specific time. And then we were able to research what the most popular reasons were for time off. Nobody likes typing on a mobile device, right? It's just work. So we just, again, making this as easy for employees as possible will make it so that the managers have less work to do, because the easier it is for employees to do it, the more likely they are to do it correctly. So they can just one tap and say, hey, I've got a school event or my other job, I can't work, travel, whatever it is, and then they can submit that request without having to type. If they need to type, they can add more additional information there.
Cool. They have that option. I like, less things I have to do. Awesome. So that's a pending review. Fantastic. So that's just going to live in that time off section there. Great.
Correct.
Okay. So,
So Ada can see exactly what's going on and doesn't have to bug her manager. She's going to see that it's still pending. There hasn't been an update yet.
great. Okay. This is a wonderful view for the employees. And then still sticking in this employee view, I am seeing that there is now a calendar view. So what are if I click on this, what are these different views that we have on this new screen?
Yeah, great question. So we've got three different views here and they're all just different ways of looking at the schedule, and they all have different purposes. So especially for an employee, being able to see the schedule grouped by role can help facilitate easier shift trades. So I already know that, I'm only able to work certain roles, the counter role or the drive-through. And that's the shift that I need to trade for. So, I can select that shift and start a shift trade if I have that role. And again, what the user sees here is going to depend on their permissions and your settings. So it's very
Right.
configurable. You can adapt this so you can make it so they can't see other roles if you want to limit that. That's all configurable. But this role view is also especially helpful for managers. Again, getting a snapshot of what does my coverage look like for the drive-through, for the register. And that way, if if something's going wrong throughout the day, if I need to make adjustments, I've got, all my roles here and I can see what my coverage is for each role. So I can play, with shifting things around to get the coverage that I need to make sure we're serving our customers to the best of our ability and maximizing the business, right? So
Yeah,
that's the role view. We've also got the name view, which is helpful if you're trying to see, hey, I thought Jimmy was working today. Oh, well, yep, there's the shift. I thought it was 2 to 7. If you're looking for a specific person, this is the best of you to do it. And then last of all, we've got the time view. And this one is nice to get a snapshot of, who's coming and who's leaving. So you see that red line, that's going to
right
tell you,
here.
yep, that's going to tell you where we're at in the day. It's currently 1:21 p.m. Mountain Time. So any shifts before that means they should already be here. That shift has already started. And it means they're going to be leaving, whenever that end time is. So people are going out at 2:30 to 8:30. And then I know immediately after, I've only got one more person coming in today. It's David. So great view for managers to get a snapshot of, okay, we've got David coming in at 2. I can flip to the time view and just see that immediately without having to find David's name or look at the roles. I just know, okay, yep, one more person coming in today. It's David at 2.
This is great. I feel like not only for because this view is also for managers, we'll talk about that in a second, but for not only the managers, but for the employees to see, okay, who isn't showing up? Do I need to call someone to cover that shift if they're not showing up last minute? These views are going to be so essential in making the day-to-day processes so much easier and streamlined to have that full coverage that you will be needing in those different areas of your businesses. So this is great. I'm so excited about this. I'm getting really giddy. Something that I'm actually really excited about, Michael, and I'm so glad that the product team actually took this into account is availability. I am seeing that it is here on the view for our employees. We actually had some really awesome feedback from this as well. One of our customers in beta testing has already praised the immediate commentary on how positive it's been for his employees. So that is 10 out of 10. What's new about availability?
Yeah, great question. So we've really kind of taken a whole new approach to availability, and it's an approach that we haven't seen other scheduling platforms do really. They've done similar things, but the way we've done this, well, first off, it was driven by customer feedback. In our feedback portal, this was one of the top items
Mm-hmm.
for customer feedback. Was people talking about their challenges managing employee availability. Specifically in the way we were doing it before in Jolt Light, you'd almost fill out a form and you could just keep submitting that form, different availability forms, but employees weren't going through and removing their old stuff. So the availabilities would just stack up and you wouldn't know what the truth was unless you dug through those forms, and managers were having to go through and clean it out themselves. Again, putting more burden on the managers. So what we've now designed is a self-maintaining system so that the employee, and we've designed something that's much easier for employees. Again, simplicity and ease of use leads to higher adoption. More employees are willing to do it if it's easy. And
Mm-hmm.
we've already seen in our testing that employees are adopting this very easily. They go through it and it's a breeze. They don't have any questions about, the way it works, because it's just asking them, tell us your availability Sunday through Saturday, and you can set that. It looks like Ada's set that she's always available at all times, but then you can easily update that and you can request changes and schedule those for the future and say, hey, come summer, my schedule's going to change. Maybe, I'm no longer in school, or I'm starting something new. I've got a new job. I'm working 2 jobs. You can schedule that change and it will automatically activate the new availability and remove the old one. You'll still have that history, but you won't have to worry about maintaining it. It's just going to be seamless for the employees and the managers to always know when someone is available to work.
That update of just taking what was already scheduled and just editing is So great. I have been on so many training calls with our customers saying, my people can't work. Like, what's going on? And like you said, just getting that feedback of we are making this work for our customers, making it exactly what they're needing. This is awesome. Let's take a look at this availability and actually try to make an edit or an adjustment, if you will. So looking at that current week, I'm still in the employee view here. Do we just click on the check mark or can I click on a day? How does this work?
Yeah, so you're still on the old version that doesn't have the big edit button, but if you scroll down, you
Mm-hmm.
should have it looks like she's already submitted a new request where she's changed her availability on Thursday, and that change is going to take place on Friday, April 26th. So on April 26th, she's no longer available all day on Thursday. She's now only available from 8 to 4:30. And
Okay.
then she can edit that, or she can keep scrolling down, or
Oh,
yeah, since you're in there, either
sorry.
way.
We'll scroll down.
Yeah, or she
Update
can
here.
make another update, yeah, and say, well, now I've got another change that's even farther out. She's planning ahead. Her schedule's going to change in May. Pick a start date whenever that availability change is going to happen.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
then she's just going to go through and say, this is what my new schedule is going to look like. And she could say, I'm no longer available Sundays and Mondays, right? Because I've got a new job or whatever the issue is. And she can set that for each day. She can add time ranges to say, I'm only available part of the day. She can adjust that time. She can remove the time ranges if they're no longer applicable. And then you see there's a little star there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the star is a way to indicate that, hey, I am available other times, but any times I've marked with the star, I'd prefer to work these times. So these are the times I'd like to work. And this is a feature that you can turn on or off. You'll be able to adjust that in your settings if you don't want to use it, but a lot of customers find it very helpful to give employees that preference because again, scheduling is all about balancing the needs of the employee and the needs of the business. And if we give more ways for the employee to communicate their preferences, and if the manager is able to accommodate some of those when they're scheduling, then great, it's a win-win. But they understand it's just a preference. Anytime that they're available, they could be scheduled. So again, that's up to the manager to decide whether or not to approve it. And then
Awesome.
yeah, you can go ahead and hit continue once you've decided, hey, this is what my availability looks like starting on this day. And you can give some context on why you're changing your availability, right? Maybe you've got a new school schedule, so you're no longer available on certain days, certain times.
Awesome. Well, we did Sunday, so hopefully no one's going to school on Sundays, but we'll just say um on vacation or something like that for a couple days and then submit. Every Sunday and Monday, she will not be available because she's on vacation always. And she prefers to work 8 to 4 on those Tuesdays and then is available the rest of the week. That is really awesome and so simple, Michael. Like that is so simple. And it's going to eliminate a lot of that confusion from what managers could put on the web portal on behalf of their employees before. I think this is fantastic. Um, all right. So I'm also seeing that there is a time off request option here as well. So that's in two spots, is correct, on the dashboard and in availability.
Correct. We wanted to make it so that there was never any confusion on where to put in your time off. And some people get confused between availability and time off. So we've got some guidance to help them here understand, hey, time off is for when you've got things like vacation, et cetera. So you can just go in and submit that time off here. And you'll see all of the time off we had before is already there.
Awesome. Two spots. I love that. Two spots to do the same thing. That's fantastic. Okay, so now moving over to what is the difference between so we just did the employee view. What is now the manager side of Jolt? What does that look like? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to log in as one of my managers. Her name is Christina, and let's just see what her view looks like. So Michael, if you don't mind walking us through the same, it looks like the dashboard, calendar, availability, and then a manage option as well.
Yeah, so with managers, some of them, depending on how customers run their business, some of our customers will have their managers on the schedule as well. And sometimes the person managing the schedule, they're never scheduled. They're not actually
Mhm.
on the schedule. So right now we've got it optimized for people that are on the schedule. In future updates, we'll have more of a manager view for people that don't have a schedule. But what's nice for Christina is first, she's going to have that same employee experience. So she can know exactly what her employees are experiencing. She can see her own schedule right there. She can manage her own stuff. But then she's got a new tab there at the bottom. You see the manage icon, the thumbs up with the red dot. So she knows that
Mhm.
there's work there for her to do. And she knows that because there's a red dot, if you tap on that, the red dot means that there are new requests that she hasn't seen yet. So we've got some requests in here from employees, and you can see there's some availability updates, some time off requests, any shift trades or pickups would be in here. And she can tap into any of those and decide whether or not to approve or deny those. So you tapped into Isabel, you've got the details and the reason. She can make a decision. And the nice thing is she's going to get a notification about any new requests to her phone if she's got the Jolt app and her notifications on. She'll get that push notification. When she makes that decision to approve or deny, the employee will get the notification about the decision as well. So we're closing the loop there. Everyone's getting the proper notifications, and there's no confusion about what's happening with the request.
That's great. And so that is for time off, availability, and those traded shifts as well. So having that notification be immediately sent to the employee and the manager, I think, like you said, is closing that gap and is just making it full circle. That is so awesome. Looking at this manage app, or on the app, I should say, you can also see everything that she has denied and then as well as all approved shifts. Now, I know on the web portal, Michael, you can go back and uh, reapprove if something was denied or denied if it was approved. Can you do that on the app as well?
Yes, I'm not sure if the version you're on has that. If
Can
you
do
click,
that?
yeah, you might not have that in this version, but in
Okay.
the next version that's already available in the App Store, um, uh, you'll have a couple new features here. You'll first have more filters, so you can filter by the person, you can filter by time off request. That way, why this matters. As a manager, employees are asking me questions about the schedule all the time. And hey, I submitted that time off request. Did you see it? They're really trying to make sure they get their time off approved, right? So that they can go live their life. And
Hmm.
um, managers, they can't keep track of everything. They're not computers, right? So we're trying to help them out as much as possible. So giving them more filter options, so they could come in here, and if I'm talking to Joey, I could just filter by the person filter and pick Joey, or I could filter by time off and see all the time off requests. It's going to help me find what I'm looking for as quick as possible. But then, like you said, I could go into any request that made a decision on, and I could actually change that decision if that's the most appropriate thing for the business. It's giving managers the full flexibility to manage things the way they need to, because we all know that getting the coverage you need on the schedule is the most important thing for controlling your labor costs while balancing meeting your customers' needs through customer service, because you've got the right coverage, which that is huge for the business. And so the more we can empower managers to make easy decisions and review their decisions and communicate with employees, it's just going to make that process so much smoother.
Fantastic. I am such a fan of all of these updates and the user friendliness, getting the most bang for your buck for your shifts that you're doing with your employees, giving that power back to the employees to really take ownership of their schedule. And take responsibility for, hey, maybe I do want to pick up extra shifts, or maybe I can't take this one. Let me drop that. I think all of these updates with the feedback that you've given, have been given from our customers, Michael, is just going to be tenfold for their experience on this app. And I love the fact that it's user friendly and in one house, and we're not doing two apps. Some things might not be working because it's outdated. Everything is just going to be updated on a normal schedule with the app stores, whether that's Google for your Androids or that iOS for your iPhone users. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Any one last thing, because I know we're coming up towards the end of our presentation time, and I want to allow some good Q&As if we have them. But what is next? One last thing for you, Michael, is like, what is next on the roadmap for scheduling? I know I'm in an outdated app which has just been released, so things to look forward to in the managing section, but anything else that our customers can look forward to?
Yeah, great question. So I could talk all day about this. I'll try to keep it real short. We've got big plans. In full transparency, the scheduling aspect of our product has not gotten as much time and attention and investment as our other products. We've had a focus on food safety, specifically on our lists, sensors, and labeling products over the last few years. And this transition to this redesign and putting this app into new technology, it really marks a turning point where we have opened the doors for more innovation, for more features. We've got a really exciting roadmap. I can't go into all of it today. But first things first, we're going to replace the Jolt Lite app for any existing customers who are currently using Jolt Lite. What you're seeing here is available today. As you've seen, it's still a little bit in a beta mode for those who are transitioning from Jolt Lite to the new app. There are updates that are currently in the App Store, and there will be more updates coming over the next 6 weeks. In 6 weeks from last Thursday, our plan is to be able to have all the functionality that Jolt Lite had so people can migrate without any issues, and they won't even have to talk to a customer service agent about how to do it. It's as simple as just, hey, tell your employees to now download the new app. They're going to use the same login that they used on the Jolt Lite app, and they're going to have the same experience, just better now. So nothing's going to be missing. So that's kind of, the beginning of our future roadmap now to continue to innovate and add new features. So we're going to be adding exciting things like better features for users that work at multiple locations to manage their schedule, their time off, and their availability. We're going to be adding better communication tools for any customers that want to talk to us about communication and chat functionality. Please reach out to us. We're currently interviewing customers, gathering requirements. That's something we're very passionate about. We're going to be adding better tools for tracking minors and adhering to labor laws and compliance, so you don't have to worry as much about that, making that easy. We've got our eyes on features like auto scheduling, making building the schedule a whole lot easier, and updating that schedule builder just to make managing things easier. So we've got a lot of things that are exciting. There's even more that we could talk all day about, but that's probably good to start. If any customers are listening that want to talk to us about those features, we're constantly talking to customers. Customer feedback is really driving our process. So we want to have these conversations with you. We want to pull out your pain points to make sure that our plans are in line with solving those.
Fantastic. These are such exciting things to keep an eye out for. In 6 weeks, that's going to fly by. So, oh my goodness, that is a really good timeline for all of these new changes for the scheduler. Okay, so let's take a look at some of our questions. We have a couple more minutes left for Q&A. So looking at this, and let me see. Okay, so Michael, will a manager still be able, will a manager be able to drop a shift for an employee from the app in case of a no-show?
Yes, absolutely. That is on the radar. Right now, a manager can go into the web and reassign that shift, but I'm sure whoever's asking this question, being able to do that from the mobile app obviously can be a lot faster and easier if you're already in there. So not only are we planning on doing that, we are also going to open the doors to editing some of the schedule from the mobile app, changing shift assignments, changing role stations, moving things around, changing times. So that is a feature on the roadmap.
Fantastic. That is exciting. And then, okay, can you see these requests through the web portal as well, or only just through the app?
Yeah, great question. So currently all these requests are available on the web portal. If you are a customer that's been using Jolt Lite, there is a nuance to be aware of with availability. Because the new availability and the new app is so different, you won't see the new availability in the web portal as the same place as the old availability from Jolt Light, which is why we'll recommend that employees just switch over completely, that they don't juggle both apps. Um, and we're going to facilitate some features to, again, in the next 6 weeks, make that migration really smooth. But yes, the answer is managers can approve and deny requests from the mobile app and from the web portal, and that's available today.
Oh, we love a good available today answer, Michael. That is great. Mindy came, thank you for joining us, Mindy. Will we get an email as to when we should have our employees download the new app, or is it just something we should probably keep an eye out for?
Yeah, great question. We will make an announcement. If you are familiar with the Jolt web portal, there's a button on the top right that says new. It's right next to the location switcher. And that button will highlight if there are any updates that we have published. And when it comes time and we say, hey, if you're ready to switch over, we're going to post an update there and say, hey, it's now available to use, and it's ready for you to stop using Jolt Light. You can switch over to the new app. The truth is that's actually available today. There are some minor pain points that you might experience from the Jolt Light app, but we actually have more than a dozen people who have now completely switched over from the Jolt Light app to the main app. They've switched their employees over. They're no longer using the Jolt Light app. We also have all of our new customers are using the new app because they don't have to worry about the nuances of the way Jolt Light worked. So this is available today, and you can reach out to your customer success rep and have that conversation to see if now is the right time for you or if you want to wait in 6 weeks. Either way, that's fine, but we will get that update in the Jolt web portal, and you'll see that on the new button.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all of your insight, Michael. You are the person to talk to about this update, let me tell you. So we're going to keep you around here for a little bit longer. So thank you all for joining us today. We are coming up on the end of our time. But just as Michael said, if you are a current scheduling user of Jolt, get on a call with the success team. I am on that team, and we can make sure we walk you through the new processes, make sure you feel comfortable utilizing this and doing a good rollout plan for your employees. And if you're not ever using our scheduler and you're like, hey, I'm actually interested in this, let's get on a demo with your account executive. And get really on hands-on training and implementation of this new feature. I will be, like I said at the beginning, I will be sending this recording out in case you need any of our information, and I'll have a slide deck in there as well that'll have all of our info in there to make sure that you guys are set up for success. Thank you so much for joining me today, and you all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Thanks again, Michael.
Thanks, Emma Claire. We'll see ya.
Bye.